Hello and welcome to Next GC9x Plays. I'm Bob Ader, and today with us we have a special guest. Who are you?
I am Chris. Or more specifically, I'm Chris Osick, also known as Gemini, who does Ancient DOS games.
And we got some other guy too, I guess.
Yeah,
some guy
apparently
named Cal.
I've been relegated to the other guy on this. Great. Just random man. I'm Cal Man.
So I see that we've got some Mega Man X footage going, but this doesn't look quite right.
This is the DOS version of Mega Man X, released 2 years after the SNES version by Rosner Labs. It's pretty decent port. It's got some issues, we'll see.
We've already got the first one. It's flashy like mad there.
We decided kids were receptive to epilepsy. They really appreciate being murdered.
This is why they have that warning in the manual that you never read.
Something like that.
I don't think it can, I don't know if you could put in a manual like "Watch out, epilepsy" and then deliberately induce
that
epilepsy.
Music.
Oh yeah.
God. Oh, that
Blah,
is
blah,
not a
blah,
good
blah,
sign.
So I believe this did actually come with a 6-button controller, which I believe used a couple buttons to use the second slot, I believe, is how that worked.
So I gotta check real quick. Is this the optimal music that we're listening to? Is this the best that we can do?
I believe there is no other sound options. I believe this is Sound Blaster.
Yeah, this is this is basically what you'd get when you take the SNES track and try to turn it into like ad-lib synth. It does.
Look, I can save so much time if I just run the keys into ad-lib. It's so easy and it's like instant.
You know, the funny thing is, maybe they had to do that, because there's something I noticed about this right before we started recording, is that this game is actually using prototype sprites. It's not
really where?
If you compare the artwork in this game to the artwork for the SNES game, it's too similar to have been redrawn, but there's also subtle differences which indicate that it must have been like an earlier version of the artwork that they were working from.
That's bizarre.
Right, so you think that they had some sort of version that they could kind of port, but it wasn't the last one.
Yeah, something like that. That's my theory, anyways. Because the funny thing is, the game plays pretty... Well, so far it looks like it's playing pretty similarly to the SNES version. It's just that music is... Oh my god.
It plays pretty closely. There are some differences we'll be seeing, but I never have any issues with gameplay. It's not like the Mega Man ports that were just like completely different games.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think, too, that this is made by the same people who made the original DOS Mega Man games. It's like, first of all, it's amazing that they went from the poor quality of those games to this, but then it's also amazing that Capcom even gave them a third chance to begin with.
Well, they must have been, handed like, they said, look, you guys can do it, but can you at least use these files that we're giving you?
I'm just not sure why they took this game when Mega Man X2 was already out.
I've got to assume that they let him have it so that, they didn't want to damage Mega Man 2 when it's just out and people would play it and go, this is terrible. They go like, okay, take this version, take this older game, we don't care, just take it.
And by Mega Man 2, I assume you mean Mega Man X2.
I assume so. I mean, I think Mega Man 2 would also have been a good option. I mean, I don't even know why we're bothering to talk. We could just crank the music up, though.
Let's not.
It says everything, doesn't it?
But no, this does play well, according to Bob, who recorded this footage previously and is the guy that has played it.
I'll be honest, X is pretty much my favorite Mega Man game, and one I've played for a very long period of time.
Like, even the sounds don't sound perfectly right. It's almost like there's like a frequency difference on them or something. Like, not that they're higher or lower pitch, but like they've been recorded at a different frequency.
It sounds like they recorded it right from the game.
You mean like they put the game in front of a microphone and just
exactly.
played the sounds back in the sound test.
I would not be completely sure they didn't. Because that sounds like exactly what they would do. Can we have the sound fonts? No. Get out.
That would actually explain a few things, too.
Oh, one thing nice thing about this version, it does have the ability to save the disc.
Unfortunately, you
best
have to
thing
listen to this
sports.
music.
Well, you can't have everything. You can't have that music.
Why did you type your full name? That took forever. That was suffering incarnate. I
And at least
love
you know
the
to
name
start with
Chill
Chill Penguin.
Yeah, I love the name Chill Penguin. Like, that's a great character. So I'm not a Mega Man expert, so you guys will have to fill me in if there's huge differences between this, but it doesn't seem to be that different from the regular.
The only-
There is
The
there
one-
is one difference to be seen in the stage.
Well, one major difference I've noticed so far is that anything non-gameplay is going by faster than it did in the SNES version. Like the flashing in the intro, the text speed in the intro, and even when you're choosing the boss master and it's showing like the whole sequence before starting the stage, that was going faster too.
That's very curious, because this game doesn't suffer from speed issues in general, though, right?
But then one other consideration is that the SNES ran on its standard NTSC television at 59.94 FPS, whereas DOS machines ran 320 by 200 at 70 frames per second. So that could be
Right.
part of it.
So they somehow, I mean, they would have had to have somehow limited it for the gameplay, because the gameplay is not significantly out of whack, but they just didn't.
But it's possible they just took shortcuts with the other sections because nobody's playing, so why bother making it better?
I mean, maybe they thought it was, maybe they're just like, you know what, it should be faster. This is just slow stuff. No one wants this. Just keep going. Speed it up.
Yeah, we need to encourage
to
those
wonder
epileptic seizures.
I have to wonder if they completely recreated the game and just followed after the... Were they, like, just porting the code or recreating it, I wonder?
Because there's no way that they made this from scratch, because those guys were not competent enough to make this from scratch. Like, you know, this is good in terms of, like, if you had to play a Mega Man game on your PC, it's good, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you would probably just, can you turn off the music?
I would have to go check, honestly.
Is that an option in, like,
It's not an option in the SNES game, but I imagine in here, if there's a setup program of any kind...
Yeah,
you
like,
could-
most DOS games had setup where you could choose not to have music, so I'm just wondering if,
Okay, here's the weird thing I want to point out. You know that SNES version has those riot armors that you can ride around in?
Yeah, I noticed that...
They are not in this version at all.
No.
Ever.
That's disappointing.
So you lose a pretty major gimmick in this title.
Yeah. Vile was riding the ride armor at the beginning, right?
Oh, right, but you can never actually get in one of them. So.
Yeah, so that's disappointing. It's not a major loss, but that was a fun thing, was being able to jump into one of those things, just beat the heck out of everything.
This
Even
is
if they-
reminding me of Metal Slug 5, actually, of all things right now. It had a snow stage, which for some reason this reminds me of. So I don't have much to add. This is Mega Man footage.
Now you make me want to play Metal Slug 5.
There are
Oh,
worse Metal Slugs.
sorry,
Play 4.
Wow, actually, sorry. No, I better correct myself. I'm pretty sure it was 4 that had the snow stage. Don't kill me, but don't play 4 either. 5 is okay.
I made a small edit because I am worse at Mega Man X than I used to think, so
Or just
now
out
you
of
have to see me
practice.
die a whole bunch.
I don't. It's okay if we don't
Oh
have to
my-
watch you.
Oh,
Get,
that's the boss music? That is so bad. Oh, the snow effect was different.
Was that an effect or was that an affront?
That was a tile map of one tile.
I mean, I guess it serves its purpose. I get that they're going with snow there, so.
This could just be me, but I feel like he moves faster than the SNES version.
He might
It does
be.
seem like he's moving very quick. I think, is that snow version graphic different too? I'm feeling some
Although the snow effect is definitely different when the snow's coming down, but...
is this music cranked too fast? Is it running like, is it like doing the same thing as the, cutscenes and running too quick?
I'm not sure, honestly. That's a good question.
And,
I don't think so, but that's hard to tell.
While we're looking at this, we briefly discussed before we loaded up this run, but the graphics look a little weird due to the nature of the port.
Yeah.
There's a lot of resolution differences that ended up making him look kind of squished, and all the sprites are poorly scaled, I think.
Yeah, the sprite work is the exact same that was used in a previous version to the actual SNES version, because we already mentioned that, but the SNES only runs at 256 by 224 resolution, as far as I'm aware. It could be 256 by 240, but the 256 part is the important part because DOS systems run at 320 by 200. So, not only are you gaining more horizontal resolution, but you're losing vertical resolution as well, and then a DOS computer would stretch that to fit a 4:3 aspect screen, so that's why it looks like everything is like squished. But that is actually how it would look if you were playing this on a DOS system.
We haven't treated this. I don't know, because I'm pretty sure Mega Man kind of looks like he's got kind of like a droopy face, like it's like pulled down, like he's got like this extra chin chunk that he doesn't normally have.
Well, we're missing special effects here too.
You get shotgun ice. Alright.
Okay, that went by way too fast.
I'm kind of wondering if I might have actually helped him to skip that, because I don't quite remember.
You can't skip it in the SNES version. So I got a funny feeling that just went by super fast for whatever reason. Because yeah, that's going way too fast for sure.
Yeah, I do think that there's some speed issues in this version of the game.
I wish I could remember how many cycles I set it to, because I might have had the facts.
I was just about to say, this music doesn't sound that bad, but...
It's... no.
They, yeah.
It had a fair start, but it does...
Yeah.
No. See, here's the thing, is that a lot of the music in Mega Man X has, like, these sort of, guitar riffs and sort of chorus-like parts to it, and that's all gone because of the ad-lib conversion.
It's not like ad-lib's a horrible monstrosity, it's just, they didn't,
no, but... yeah, you'd have to basically redo the music from scratch to get it to sound decent on ad-lib. Whereas here, they clearly just sort of cut and pasted all the tracks and just assigned synth sounds to them. It doesn't work that way.
In some ways, we should be thankful, because I don't think we wouldn't have gotten good compilations if they had made originals.
You can't do that kind of thing okay, like, if you take, like, the Sonic & Knuckles collection PC, the music sounds okay on that for MIDI, but this is, not so good.
I mean, because this was converted by, was this converted by one guy, or was that a team? Because it sounded like a person's name.
Well, originally with the first Mega Man game, I think, like, 2 people worked on it. The first and the third one technically for DOS, but I'm not sure how many people were involved with this one. In fact, I don't think you'd find out until you actually got all the way to the credits. But
do you get to the credits, Paul?
Definitely look up.
Well, I tried looking up the credits and I couldn't find any.
There's no long plays of this version?
Well, then I'd have to watch a long play and sit through this music all the way through.
Fair point.
Boy, I really wish I had, you know, some high-quality speakers from, you know, 1994 or whatever to really, you know, elevate the soundtrack. You know,
to what?
Maybe like a mono set, like just a single brick. The clouds are really fast in the background. That's what I'm getting here.
They're not supposed. I know that they're supposed to speed up, I just don't know if they're supposed to speed up now or after you go up to the top.
I also kind of feel like they're facing the wrong way. They kind of just look like they're in the wrong direction.
This port is full of mysteries.
You mean beyond its existence?
Imagine, like, I mean, you know, we do know that, like, whatever, Mega Man 3 on the PC is, like, an abomination, which I think Bob has refused to play, so that's why we're playing this one, because...
I don't
I
blame
don't
him.
think I get past a single stage of that game. I'm not gonna try.
Well, half the stages are water stages, so that doesn't help.
They took the, they put in the effort to make the water stage. They're like, come on, this took ages, we're using these levels.
Well, they put the effort in because they wanted to make Mega Man swim.
Oh my god.
I've covered Mega Man 3 for DOS on my show. You can see for yourselves just how ridiculous it is.
I've seen it, I believe you.
Well, I'll have to remember to annotate that one in.
The death sequence is different too there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the screen's supposed to white out, and it doesn't do that here.
Mega Man's supposed to white out too.
Yeah, doesn't he normally explode in some form or fashion, instead of just kind of hover?
Yeah. Which, you know, it almost kind of feels like that's like how it would have been if this were a prototype SNES game, which just further reinforces my theory that they converted this out of a prototype version of the game instead of the actual full game.
Yes, maybe there was more SNES specific code or something in the final version. Who knows? Maybe they stole it. Maybe they stole the code.
I don't know. This has Capcom branding all over it, though.
I want to say that they did, but then how do you explain the lack of ride armors?
And also the fact that it's got Capcom branding all over it. Like, the controller that was included with some versions of the game was made by Capcom.
Yeah, no, this
and the
is
clouds
an
are supposed to
official...
start dropping now, too.
This is an official licensed product. This is not... This is not like Magamoon. This is...
It just feels like it.
Yeah. This is like, they must have just given them, like, a box of, like stuff. It's like, oh, alright, you're gonna pay us? Alright, we'll just ship over a box of Mega Man X and you guys deal with it. Like, that must have been it. Like, they just sent them stuff to, like, use to make it, and then they just like, don't talk to us again, we don't want to speak to you.
I don't think that's the same Flame Mammoth pose either. I could be wrong about that, but...
I mean, again, that could be explained by prototyping.
And also, there's nothing dropping down on the conveyors. Oh no, wait, there it goes. I was about to say.
They did keep the level changes from the SNES port. That was appreciated.
Okay, you know what? This is actually going faster than the SNES game. Going through the conveyor section kind of tipped me off there.
Okay, so we're just pretty sure that in general it's just running too fast.
Yeah, and it's probably related to converting from the NTSC rate to the VGA rate.
So basically, you should optimally run this on a system that would slow it down by a certain percent.
Maybe not, though, because if they're doing any kind of vertical syncing and you tried to do that, you might end up with, like, 35 frames per second and the game running at half speed, so...
So you don't think that tweaking the cycles would help?
I don't think so. It would probably help with any of the non-gameplay sections, which don't seem to be timed properly, but I don't think it would help with the actual gameplay.
Oh well, that's fine. You can just enjoy this as it is.
Sort of.
It's not an awful port. I've certainly played a lot worse.
True,
I mean,
I'll give it that.
I mean, it amuses me because it kind of reminds me of playing like a bad emulator back when, you know, they were really junky emulators. That's what this feels like.
Like Nesticle and Genesis and all that.
Oh
yeah,
man,
like
do you guys remember that Genesis actually used to send all the commands through to the MIDI? So, the very early days of using Genesis, every game sounded so bizarre because of that.
I mean, that's something special about like a really janky old emulator like that.
And that's what this game sounds like. It's exactly like that.
Yeah, they just mapped it or something. They're just like, this note is this, whatever, we're done. I got to assume, like, no one who would have played this at the time of release would have probably played the SNES version. Like, I don't think there would have been much overlap.
Except this came out 2 years later, right?
Oh, yeah, but I'm assuming if you ended up somehow with this port on a PC, you probably didn't have an SNES, like, you know, you had your chance to buy it and you accidentally... Hey, what the?
Yeah, this is where I show off that the secrets are still in the game.
Well, I'm glad we edited it so that it just kind of did that.
Yeah.
Now, this is all correct and in the full game, I assume, because this seems like normal.
Something I am curious about now is if the Hadouken is still in this version, because I don't actually know.
From what I understand, it is, and that you can actually use it right from the get-go. The only catch is that because they did that, they reduced the power of it to the point where there's no reason to use it.
Huh, I never tried it.
Well, apparently it's useless, so no problem. Is that more careful editing? This is a...
Yeah.
It's a this is a pre-edited video. That's really cool.
Pre-edited footage is cool like that.
It's good of him to hide the important power-ups just arbitrarily around the environment. Mega Man, this is extremely important for your fight against Dr. Wily, so I hid it upside down in a different room where you'll never find it. Go get it.
I'm gonna be a dork and say you meant Sigma.
That's fine. I mean, I can keep revealing that I don't know very much about these. I played most of the classic ones. I didn't play that many X's.
I remember not actually liking Mega Man X2 for whatever reason. I only ever played it once, and I was like, this is... no. I don't know what it was, because Mega Man X2, from what I understand, is a decent game. It's just, maybe it just... I don't know.
I think a lot of people tell you that X1 is the best.
Well, it looks pretty great.
Especially when compared to X8. Isn't X8, like, really terrible?
I believe the later X games are the ones that are kind of most generally reviled. They don't...
Yeah. Or was it X... Because I don't know if it's 7, 8... there's like hundreds of Mega Man games.
There's a... And they keep asking for more! And then they got them and they're like, actually, we hate this. Yeah, that's a Mighty Number 9 reference for anyone listening to this in the year 2020. You'll have to look up that game.
Add that regret that you did. Actually, I watched Pro Jared's playthrough of Mighty Number 9. It's not a terrible game, but it has technical issues, it has design issues, it even has some really poor difficulty choices in terms of just making the game too hard.
Forever syndrome, and that it took so long to release, and expectations were just way too high.
Yeah. But it has design issues too, so.
Which was Mega Man better, this or Mighty Number 9?
You really gonna make me choose?
That's what the listeners want. They want, cutting edge comparisons, like a game that disappointed so many people, and a game that no one played because it was a port.
Okay, I would rather play this over Mighty Number 9 simply for the fact that this will not destroy my computer if things go wrong. Pro Jared literally his computer crashed, and then Windows had to do like a repair process on reboot, which took like 2 or 3 hours.
Wow, I'd love to know what happened there.
I don't know.
Well, on the upside, yeah, you can run this in a virtual system, so it can't even touch a real system.
Exactly.
Nice and safe, secure. I wouldn't run this on an actual DOS system. You just don't want, you don't want to take that risk. You don't want to break your, you want to use a proper DOS system for genuinely good games.
I will also say this better than the Street Fighter 2 DOS port, because that one's pretty awful. I'm talking like the original Street Fighter 2 for reference.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so we have you mentioned
Which,
that.
by the way, came with the Mega Man and Mega Man 3 for DOS as well as free add-ins. Just to add insult to injury.
They must have to ship off like a lot of unsold excess or something.
Well, yeah, maybe they printed a whole mess of them. We're like, why is no one buying Mega Man 3? I mean, it's a good game. Okay, so, I mean, as far as DOS ports go, where does this one sit? Because this one seems okay.
Well, there's nothing really bad about from a gameplay perspective except the lack of ride armors.
Well, and it runs too fast, but that's fine.
Yeah, as far as ports go, this is basically what happens if you try to port something too accurately.
Right, because they didn't attempt to make it a PC game.
That's what it is. Yeah, exactly. They didn't try to make it a PC game. They just took the SNES code, the SNES graphics, and just slapped it together as a DOS program without making any significant changes to account for the fact that DOS is different than an SNES.
This is the authentic SNES experience, as interpreted by your DOS PC.
Exactly. With a prototype code base and graphics.
Man, I wonder if we could convince someone to dig open this game, you know, like a Mega Man fan or something, because I don't know if they have, but, you know, if you're interested in Mega Man, there might be leftovers from Mega Man X's earlier builds hidden in this game, because I doubt they took anything out, you know, they would have just been like, whatever, dump it on a floppy disk, or...
It's possible.
Yeah. Unused sprite art or something might have found its way in there, who knows?
The guys from TCRF are watching. They need to take note.
I do know somebody who does work for TCRF. I might have to ask him.
Can you be an employee of TCRF? That would be cool.
Isn't it run the same way as Wikipedia? So...
Yeah, I believe it's just like, oh, do it for kudos.
Yeah.
Yeah, kudos you'll never get because you don't really get an author credit or anything. I do think it's less political than Wikipedia, which I'm not going to get into, but man, Wikipedia can be a cesspool of, just like the culture behind Wikipedia, like the rules of writing pages and upgrading and reverting. That's a whole mess, you know, that you never want to get into. If anyone's wondering, I just keep talking to try and cover the music a bit more. Like, that's really,
we appreciate it.
that's all I'm doing
Thankfully,
at this
Fest comes to
point.
an end.
Yeah.
Wow, it is.
Actually, I think we're almost done, aren't we?
Yeah, so, summaries. Chris, what do you think?
I think I am very glad I never tried to find and purchase this game as a kid. I had the SNES version almost from since it was brand new, and this would have just... I would have hated myself for buying this.
Well, it's not Mega Man 3.